Oh lordy, look at that. Okay. This will be a little bit tougher assignment today. If you need my help, all you have to do is ask, okay? And we can kind of work through the problems together. So I have to solve this equation right here for x. We have to find what x equals. Well, first thing I see is a nasty looking parentheses. So I need to get rid of that, okay? So we're going to take that -2, because that's the outside number, -2. So I put -2, -2. And I'm putting it twice because when I have a parentheses, I need to circle the plus. I put a 1 in front of the x, and I have to distribute -2 to each one of those things. That means multiply, okay? Don't worry about anything else but that parentheses and the number that's multiplied. Okay, so we're going to be timesing it by 1x, and then we're going to be multiplying it, I should say, by 3. So I put x down. -2 times 1 is -2, and then -2 times 3 is -6. Okay, so I line up my equals. I'm going to line that up. Then that plus sign I drop straight down, and I put -2x and -6. Now, cross out the parentheses and the -2. That's history, okay? That's history. Now, what else do you have over there? Well, you have a -2x. Make it plus negative, though. I'm not a fan of minus operators, so make it plus negative. And then we have -63. Well, that's fine. Parentheses is gone, but I have two x's, okay? They're on the same side of the equals, so we actually did an assignment like this before our quiz yesterday, which you guys did well on. But when I have two x's, I don't want to make the wall, okay? We have to simplify this so the x appears once. So I kind of connect the x's and I write the word add, okay? So I line up the equals. I've got -63, and then I write x down just once, okay, just once, and I add -2 and -2. You can use a calculator, you're adding them, and that'd be -4. Then the x's have been combined. Now I still have the -6. Now this is looking more like it, okay? More like what we did yesterday. So the x is on this side of the equals. We have times and plus. So we want to highlight the times so we know that this number we have to add or subtract. So since it's a -6, I'd move forward to get that to 0. So I would add 6. And I go add 6 to the -63. So you have -4 times x, and then I go -63 plus 6. Okay, it's going to be -57. And then finally, when I have times, I am going to divide, okay, by -4. And finally, I have my answer for x. So I take -57 divided by -4, and that's 14.25. Decimal's okay, I'm not worried about that, okay? Okay, my next problem. So, we have parentheses. So the number I'm distributing is +3. So 3 times. So what am I distributing it to? Well, I don't like that minus sign. I go plus negative. I want the plus, okay, and I put a 1. So 3 to 1x and 3 to -2. 3 times 1 is 3, -6. So you're going to drop your plus, and then you're going to put 3x and -6. Now cross out the parentheses and the 3. Those are gone. They have turned into this. Now we do have a -7x, so I put plus -7x, and then we have 34. Okay, now we have two different x's in the problem, -7x and +3x. So again, when they're on the same side of the equation of the equals, we need to make our adding v. So 34 sits over there. Now I write x down and I add the coefficients -7 and 3. Whoops, it'd be -4. Okay, so those are gone, and then we add -6. Okay, so I make my wall, and then I have times, and then we have that -6, we have to add 6 to 34. So that takes that side to 40 now, and we still got the -4 times x, okay? So -4 times what number is 40? Well, how about we divide and find out? Okay, 40 divided by -4 is going to equal -10. Okay. So these take just patience. You just got to persevere through them. Okay. All right, this is going to be a much quicker problem. We are solving for x, or I'll solve for it over here. Okay, again we have a parentheses, so we have a multiplier of 7, +7. And then I don't like that inside, so it's plus negative, so I distribute 7 to 1x and 7 to -5. So you have x, 7 times 1, 7. 7 times -5 is -35. Okay, so I line up my equals, I drop down my plus. We have 7x and -35. So the parentheses and the 7 go bye-bye. There's nothing else over there, I just put 42 on the other side. And now I can make my wall because there's only this single x we have. Okay, we don't need to add the x's, or combine the x's I should say. So times, get your -35 to 0, you're going to add 35. 42 plus 35 is going to be 77. 7 times what number is 77? Well, we're going to divide by 7 to figure that out. And that's going to be 11. Okay. Okay, next problem. See the parentheses, okay? Now, a lot of people are going to mess this up, okay? We are not going to just multiply 3. If 3 has a minus in front of it, we are going to multiply a -3. You can't miss that, okay? So you're going to multiply -3 by 1x, and then -3 by 6. Okay, so write x down, -3 times 1 is -3, and then -3 times 6 is -18. So remember, if that has a minus, that's the first time on it's had a minus in front of it. So I line up my equals, I put the 50, I drop down my plus, and it's -3x plus -18. Okay, and then 5x plus 5x. Okay, now, again, we have two different x's in the equation. They're on the same side, so I know what to do. Okay, we just connect them and write add. So I write x down just one time, and then to combine it into 1, we add 5 and -3, because both of those are multiplied by x, so we can add them. 5 plus -3 is 2, plus -18. Okay, so we have times 2 plus -18. So highlight the times 2. We get the -18 to 0 by adding 18. So 50 plus 18 is 68. And then I have 2 times x. Okay, so 2 times x is 68. Well, we're going to divide then. Okay, divide by 2. Divide by 2. 68 divided by 2 is 34. Okay. Now we are going to look at a couple story problems. One thing you want to look at on number 3, you are going to make sure you make that a -2 when you multiply. Okay. And also another thing on number 1. Okay, you're going to multiply the 5 in there. You might want to put a 1 in front of that outside x, okay, because later on you have to add. Okay, now in story problems, I want to go over 2. These are going to work a little bit more complicated than what we saw yesterday. Parking at a fair costs $6. General admission tickets to the fair cost $3.50 per person. Ride passes cost an additional $5.50 per person. The total cost for the passes and parking was $51. How many people attended the fair? Okay, so again, we see we're finding the number of people. But we've also got dollars to go with it. Okay, people and dollars. So we don't have a time unit, but X cannot be the money. X would have to be the people. Y would be the money. So per. Dollars per, I guess you could write people or person. It doesn't matter, okay? Now, we got a little different thing going on. $6 is not per person, but $3.50 is, and so is $5.50. Well, when you buy a ticket, you're also going to go on rides, so what we do is combine those, okay? So I take $3.50 plus $5.50, and that equals 9, so 9 times X, okay? Now, you want to circle those, trust me. Okay, then we're going to make our table. Now, if you're having a problem understanding the table, you need to label it, okay? So people is X, put the word people on top of X. Dollars is Y, put the dollars on top of Y. Then I go 0, 1, 2, okay? Later we'll put another number. Now before those per person amounts, that means I'm not looking for the people. How much money did we start with? We started with $6, okay? Then one person, well, I add 9. Takes you to 15. Then another person goes, add another 9, 24. Now I make my line, so I put equals Y and I put plus. So Y starts at 6, then the number I kept adding was 9. So 9 times X. So there's your equation. We have 6 plus 9 times X equals Y. And then the closing amount that's at $51. Now it's dollars, so we put that in for Y. So Y equals 51, and we put 51 in for Y. Okay, now we're going to solve for X. Okay, this is the only X I have, so I can make the wall. We got a plus and a times. You need to circle the times. Circling the times helps because I know that that's the number I have to add or subtract. So it's positive 6, I have to get it to 0. So I would minus, remember, don't add 6 to 6. So 9 times X, 51 minus 6 is 45. And then when I got times, I divide to figure out what X is. 45 divided by 9 is 5. Okay, so 5 people went on this. Okay, 5 people cost $51. Okay, I'm going to go over another one, but it's a little bit different. Okay. A couple on vacation rents a car for $150. They have to pay $50 to fill it with gas. It costs 75 cents per mile. If the total cost for the car ends up as $247.25, for how many miles did the couple drive the truck? So we need to find the number of miles. What miles is also money is also works with the miles in this problem. Okay, the money helps us. Okay, remember, X cannot be the money. Okay, so X would be the miles, Y would be the money. So per, dollars per mile. Now let's go circle. So 150, that's not per mile. $50, that's not per mile. 75 cents is per mile. And then 247.25 is the closing number we put into the equation, so we obviously don't circle that. So unlike that's the only one I put down. I don't have to add anything. That's what we have. Okay. Now my table. Again, if you want the table to make sense, label the X and Y. Miles is X, and then money's Y. So 0 miles, 1 mile, 2 miles, and that goes on, okay? Now, before the 75 cents, before they mention miles, there are two amounts, 150 and 50. So to find what we start with, we need to add 150 to 50, and that's 200. So we're going to start at $200 before we pay for the miles. Then when I drive 1 mile, I add 75 cents plus 0.75. So that would be $200.75. Then when I drive another mile, I add 75 on again. So 200.75 plus 0.75 is $201.50. Okay. Now that's good enough. I can see what's happening. So equals Y. So Y starts at 200. Then we add 75 cents per mile. Okay. So the equation, we're going to have 200 plus 0.75 times X equals Y. Now, in the table, the closing amount is $247.25, so 247.25. That equals Y. So Y equals $247.25. So we put that where Y is at. Okay, we put that in for Y. Oops, my bad. Put it in for Y, 247.25. Now I can solve for X. We have plus, we have times. You need to circle the times so then I see, okay, that's the number I have to get to 0. Remember, that's a positive 200, so we need to subtract it. So I have 0.75 times X. And then I minus those, that's $47.25. And finally, to solve it times, I divide. So 47.25 divided by 0.75 gives me my answer, 63. So 63 miles costs that much money. Okay. Now on numbers 5 and 6 on the assignment, okay, give you some tips. Okay, that's number 5. When you do the dollars per week, you've got $8 per week and $7 per week. We would add those to find what goes there. Then on the table, Y would start at 85, then I would add whatever that is. Okay. Now in the second problem, the only dollars per mile I have is 20 cents. So 0.20 times X goes here, but when I make my table, Y, to find what Y, the starting number for Y, the dollars, I need to add 19.95 and 65.32. Okay, then I start adding 20 cents down.